about 50 established about 50 years ago. Really, really beautiful in the uh, middle of the countryside of Pennsylvania in the valley. It has mountains everywhere, and it's a very interesting time to be in this place because everything is so green. Just the drive to this place in Pennsylvania with these rolling hills, and you go up and down, and you have to go real slow because there's so many little deers. They're fawns, they're just crossing the streets. There's a lot of corn and other vegetation. It's beautiful. And then when you drive in the streets, then you get to see all these Amish people in their buggies. You know what buggies are? For those of you who do not know what buggies are, they're this amazing, cool carriages that are driven by horses. And they ride them on the main streets. And the beautiful part of this place, I just have a guest here, and I'm going to introduce you to him. Now that he's here, I'm going to capture him, and he can tell us more about this farm. There you see.
To get in. Hello.
He's the resident heart specialist. What I mean by that is he just loves everybody. He knows how to capture your heart. And so I'm just doing an introduction about this place, and then I want to introduce my friend, and then he just showed up. I was thinking I want someone else to talk about this place instead of me because I know very little about it. I only come and spend 3 days out of the year. What do I know? So the beautiful thing, I was driving down, I saw all these Amish people in their carts. They just look so pretty because it feels like you're gone back in time where they don't use electricity, they don't use most of the world amenities that we are so dependent on. And it's so cool to see them actually be happy and joyful.
Veda, I muted you by mistake, sorry.
I think that was good that you muted me because I just kept going about the Amish land. It's just so nice to be around people who are very connected to uh, the earth. And how I was thinking as I was driving down, if the world civilization collapses, these people are some of the people I think they will make it because they live off the land and they have deep social values, and it's really nice. And it's inspiring for me because this is what I'm hoping that I can help to do in the world. Wherever I go, we build up these communities wherever we are, but our consciousness is so connected in our relationship with our spiritual selves and with the divine. So every time I come here, I'm always inspired. Just the drive alone is inspiring. And I would just stop the car, like really slow it down in the middle of the highway because they're going slow. So I would slow down and wave at them and, and acknowledge them and appreciate them. It was beautiful. So this farm that I'm in right now, the retreat that we're having, there's about 135 people. And it's beautiful because what better than having people who are consciously choosing to be conscious and connect on a deeper level and in an embrace of Mother Nature all around you and underneath you, above you. And you sleep. Some of the boys were sleeping in tents last night. They were telling me about the stars they could see in the skies. And I was like, huh, I need to pause for a minute and see. The last time I saw some stars was It's been a while. So it's really nice. They have a lot of cows here, and these cows are strictly brought here because they wanted to teach the society the importance of loving all creatures. That we should not think that our choice of who lives and who stays is the best choice. The best choice is the divine arrangement where everyone gets to live a happy life. So they educate all the students from all over different universities in this part of Pennsylvania and New York and Philly. They all come up and they educate them about being in harmony with nature and learning the importance of all living creatures, how important it is to coexist and how interdependent we are and how each and every one of us need each other. So this is one of the main themes of this Gitanagari farm. And they milk the cows. Some of you may be wondering, what is this? And they milk the cows. It's very unique because they let the calves drink all the milk that they possibly can. When the calves are all fluffy and they can't drink anymore, then the cow herders, they go and take the milk out of the cows to release the mother cow from any kind of pain. So this is what they call an ahimsa farm, a non-violent farm. So they take the milk and that's the only milk that they will drink. Milk that has been willingly, voluntarily, lovingly offered to others. How cool is that? So it's not like they inject them and suck the milk out of them and the calves don't get any milk. So this is a very unique practice that they have over here. And they do a lot of organic gardening, a lot of fruits and vegetables. There's dozens of peacocks. They just go around and greeting people and saying hello and put on a little show. They come and do a little dance for everybody. It's so cute. And so with me, I have my dear friend. He is someone I met more recently here, since I started to come here. And he takes care of these two beautiful divine embodied forms of love. And they're called Radha Damodar. Radha is a beautiful divine goddess, embodiment of spiritual love, transcendental love. And Damodar is a name of Krishna, who is considered to be bound by the love of love. Imagine if your waist is bound by love. Normally, our waist is not always bound by love. Sometimes there could be other ways we're bound to our bellies. But this form, Damodar, is being bound by love. So this whole farm is all about how to capture people through binding their bellies and their hearts with love. They bind the belly with cooking the most delicious food, and you're hooked onto them because they make the most delicious, amazing, sanctified food. And they capture your heart through your belly. So this is what that form of Damodar represents, that we are here to feed you and we are here to touch your hearts. So he takes care, and then he also is so kind and loving towards everyone that comes into the farm. And when you're just around him, you're just so humbled. So Prabhu, Tell us more about about Gita Nagari Farm.
Well, Veda, I should have recorded you and listen it every morning podcast, just to get a good day going. Thank you for this introduction. My name is Venu. So Veda, Venu, it's easy to...
We are twins.
yeah.
I'm Veda, he's Venu. Venu is a flute. So he plays the flute is the sound of the heart. If you didn't know, the heart music is the flute music. So he plays the flute. And Veda just means knowledge. I just spewed some information that I have learned in my life. So he plays the music of the heart. So let's listen to Venu.
All right. So what would you like me to share? The farm and...
Yeah, just what is the ethos, and tell us more about you and why are you involved? And all of you can just ask him questions, because how often do I just sit in a room and someone just walks in and and they're such loving souls. And look, Devi Radhika just showed up too.
They left you food, so when you are done, you can eat.
She's so kind. She's just letting us know that she left us food. I'm telling you, this place, they want to capture your heart. You gotta watch it, everybody. Devi Radhika just came in and said that they saved us some plates of delicious food. So when we finish, we can go and relish. So Venu, please tell us.
All right. So, well, hello, everyone. I don't even know where you're all from, but...
All over the world.
All over the...
Netherlands, Belgium.
Okay, well, that's a familiar
France, all over Netherlands, and Connecticut, Atlanta, and Washington, California. Yeah, all over the place.
Great. Well, I'm actually coming from Czech Republic to here. And so for those in Europe, I'm very familiar with the scene in Europe. I've been living in 30 countries all over the world, mainly in Europe. And somehow or other, 4 years ago, just when the COVID hit, or just before the COVID hit, I was asked by a farm president here, whom I met in India randomly, you can say, to come and help him with hospitality and various tasks on the farm. And, I'm a city boy. I grew up in cities in Auckland, New Zealand, Prague, Czech Republic, 1.5 million cities. So like, farm, what do we be doing on a farm? Anyhow, I was attracted to farms since my childhood. My grandmother had a house in a rural area setting, so I'm familiar with farms, but not that I lived on the farms. So I decided, okay, let me just drop my work and rent my flat and just change the scene, from Czech Republic to USA. And that's what we did with my wife.
Were you in Prague?
Yeah.
Oh, for those of you who have never been to Prague, it's one of the most majestic, beautiful, cute, petite cities, because it's just filled with such incredible architecture. Just castles and cobblestone streets. For him, it's nothing. For me, when I went there at 14, I felt like I went back in time, medieval times. Incredible. So go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I mean, I totally agree. It's not nothing. I mean, when I moved to Prague, I was born in Russia, actually. When I moved to Prague when I was a kid, I was just keep going on this king's route around the Prague city, every day. I was just so mesmerized. So about a year, I was just going the same route every day. So yeah, it's very beautiful. And yeah, so we moved in, and then we came on the 11th March 2020. And if you remember, March 12th, 2020, the border closed with Europe and USA. So we just came a day before COVID hit. So I had the best lockdown in my life. Actually, the moment I start realizing how great those farms are, it's like a microcosmos. 380 acres of land that we have, 200 acres is forest. For those in hectares, just divided by 2. And, we had the best lockdown ever. And we had so many student applications from all over the United States coming, begging us, please let us in, let us have a farm study program on the farm. We don't want to do the Zooms at home. And so we had over 1,000 applications. Can you believe that? From all over universities, from Princeton to University of Texas, University of Pennsylvania, California, like literally, apart from Alaska, probably all over the United States. And we had to choose who we taken in. We didn't have accommodation for 1,000 students, obviously. So we had 54 students that came in, and they had the greatest time ever. And as Veda said, bound by love. Since then, when they came, they keep returning and returning their own, holiday times, or they made friends, and they all passed the exams, and they had just the best time ever doing some practical work on the farm, learning new things and exploring flora and fauna, making photographies, doing their parties, and working in a garden, learning about the bees. And this year we started our own maple syrup production. So that would be another add-on that students kind of missed out on, but now, it's another level up for us. We got about 5,000 maple trees on the farm. So a lot of things to learn, really, but I really wish to have it interactive. So I have some little experience here by now. It's been 4.5 years. So if you have any questions.
Yeah, let's interrogate him all about the farm. So please, you want to write the questions, or you want to?
There's something in the chat you can check.
Are you gonna? You want to ask him any questions? Okay, we're ready for questions. Are you all serious? Nobody has any questions for him?
They're warming up. It's early in the morning still.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was trying to unmute. I'm so sorry. I
Okay,
was trying to
Jennifer.
navigate Zoom. Hare Krishna. My name is Jennifer. I would love to be involved with something like that. I mean, it's been a dream since childhood. I've made business plans just like that when I was 12 years old. And life happens. And what my dream is to also implement classes, and movement and dance and a creative aspect, I guess, or theatrical aspect.
She's an actor, by the way, for those of you.
Fantastic.
Now you know why she's talking like that.
Yeah, because that's how I learn. It's like in my body, and tapping into that cellular memory. And I'm so inspired by what you're doing. And I guess I just want to know how to plug in and perhaps get some training, of how to move forward, meet more people who are doing the same things. And
I'll send you the address. You can fly in tomorrow.
Yeah, it's just very inspiring. I've always wanted to do something like this, always.
Yeah, we have
Like a big barn, a big, huge barn with all these fabulous things going on all the time.
Right. Thank you, Jennifer. It's nice to see your enthusiasm. And we have a volunteer application form on our website. And we're actually gonna start a new website very soon, but still it's workable. And people just fill out those application forms. They come in for 1 week, come in for 1 month, come in for 3 months. Really up to them to explore and see. And there's so many ways to plug in, really. And as you say, an actress, we have Jasenia here, who's a professional actor also, living on the farm, and plugging in with her artistic, creative way also, with various admin tasks as well. But
she dances with the cows and talks to them.
So
and the peacocks.
And the peacocks are trying to overdance the peacocks. That's the hardest.
The peacocks are dancing, and then she dances with the peacocks.
So there's a lot of there's Yasmin, who is doing the sound bowl therapies here. We have a social space at the loft, and all sort of events are going on there apart from our farm hard work and all that. That's part of it also, but there's still room for fun and space and creativity, that's for sure. So it can be a meaningful impact to show, mainly we focus on really to show, as Veda said, the model to the society, how you actually can live in harmony with nature, with people, with all the other creatures, meaning animals and birds and life. And we try to preserve that life, at least on our, where we are responsible, meaning 380 acres of land, and we're trying to show it to everybody who comes how to do it properly. And we still not reached the perfection yet. We're still making our steps to reach that perfection, but certainly we have a wonderful impact in our local county here.
Yeah, the Amish people, they love them.
Yeah, we're great friends with Amish and Mennonites also.
Yeah. Okay, who else has the next question? Durga Devi.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Hi, Fina. Thank
He
you for
speaks French. He said, "Comment ça va?"
Oh, comment ça va? Ça va bien. I'm not from French, but I have a French-speaking lady here. So thank you so much for your inspiring story. And we were just wondering how, what is the, you come from a city, so you're a city boy, and now you're living in a farm for 4.5 years. So how does that contribute to your spiritual path, and what kind of transformations are there in your heart while serving here in this community?
Deep
That's
question.
a deep question. Thank you very much. Well, certainly I have noticed in those 4 years about myself that the transformation is actually quite deep. Because in city you're so much distracted with so many activities, and I'm not just being a city boy. I've been very social city boy also. I've been part of different clubs like Rotary Club. We used to do various social activities, welfare activities, and I was actually also playing in a theater, not professionally, but it was like a hobby. And I'm a runner, so I used to run long distances, like not marathons, but almost. And so many things like that. And I'm still doing this. I'm still running here. It's actually even better in a rural area. I'm doing my 6 miles every week. But the point I'm trying to make is that in the city you get distracted by noise, by different invitations and like that. So you're not belonging to yourself so much. Here also, belonging to yourself so much. You're still contributing selflessly and working with guests, etc. But in the time in between, you're really left alone with your mind. And the only way to work with your mind, you have to face it, what's coming up, and there's no runaway. You cannot just make some external noise to shut it down. You have to understand what's in there, how to work with that. So it's like almost like a psychotherapy that you have to undergo. And I tell you that the city people, when they come, they going through this detox phase when they just can go like almost crazy. The mind is so loud. To calm it down takes time. So I noticed after 2 years only being on a farm, working and also, of course, practicing spirituality, the mind started to be subdued a little bit, and the actual internal work started to manifest in terms of my meditation practice and everything. It became, I realized really what I want to do in spirituality, how I want to progress, and that determination came up, and then the spiritual practice became more deep. And of course, the scene also helps when there's no noise whatsoever. Imagine I just traveled to Atlanta and Houston and New York, three big cities in one go. And everywhere I slept, there was like a huge train nearby, blowing on every cross in a police car or emergency, Anyway, there was like always some huge noise. I couldn't even sleep properly. And here's the only thing wakes you up are the peacocks that are meowing in springtime, not even winter. Winter is like dead quiet. So it's a completely different scene, yes. And you start noticing the way nature works, like from where moon comes up, when it's like waning, when it's waxing, you know, what insects come in each phase, when are the crickets, when are the cicadas, when are the bees, you know, like you start noticing the blossom, the flowers, and you know which one is the last blossom. Can you like, and I'm not even into biology, it's just noticing it after month, you start realizing what's around you. You know, the stargazing that Veda just mentioned for the boys that just realize, oh, they're actually stars. They're beautiful. So all that helps, you know, you all of a sudden realize where's the food coming from, you know, how is it growing, you know. It's just living in nature makes you feel more connected with the source, with yourself also. And you become more grounded. Have you ever walked the forest after the rain? We just had rain yesterday. And the smell or aroma, and Bhagavad Gita says, I'm the original fragrance of earth. I was always wondering, what's that original fragrance of earth? Now, if you walk in the forest after the rain, the scientists call it geosmin. Geosmin is the molecule that your nose can detect, even it's only like 3 molecules out of trillion, your nose can detect it. That special fragrance of earth, which make you like, it's almost like a therapy itself. In Japan, they call it Shinshin Yoku.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you do that, it's just like you get an astonished, wow, how beautiful this world is, how it's perfectly created. You know, there's this calming effect on every step that you make, actually, you know, by seeing sunrise and sunset, the stars, the forest, the smell, the aroma, fragrance. So it's actually unique, reconnecting. It's very unique, reconnecting with Mother Earth. You know, like they do on the Earth Day, they just switch off the light for 1 hour. We appreciate the earth. It's nice. It's a nice sentiment, but what actually practically you're doing to help Mother Earth to flourish, not to contribute in the soil erosion and so many things. I can talk about this forever, but I want to.
Beautiful, beautiful. One last, what kind of advice do you have for people who live in the city, you know, to also have this state of mind which you are more experiencing now you are in nature?
Find some such oases and come visit on weekends. That's what I used to do in Prague, actually. I used to get a group and go to Hungary. There's another beautiful farm like that. Actually much bigger, 300 hectares. So I was doing trips there 8 times a year. Just get in a minivan and getting some people on board and off we go, you know, for a longer weekend, 3 days. Such an amazing time. No regrets. And, you know, locally also just going to nature as often as possible.
Thank you.
So John's question, what does your daily sadhana practice consist of?
Okay, thank you, John. Well, waking up early in the morning. When I'm saying early in the morning, everybody got a different idea what that is. And it's 3:45, 3:45 every day. And I go to the little temple hall that we have. Not little, but anyway, to the temple, which is like a center of our community. And I start my morning with a proper meditation and setting my consciousness to live the day consciously, because the way you start the day, that the whole day goes. If I started consciously, like today I did also, and of course today I was also distracted at night. The cows broke out at 12 midnight, and I got a call. So I was like, oh, okay, how do we deal with that? Anyway, that's the only attraction, entertainment on the farm. We call it entertainment. Cows broke out. Anyway, so yeah, so that starts early in the morning, and then you do your meditation practice in the morning till like 8 a.m. or so, you know, studying scriptures and chanting on beads and doing collective prayers also. And then you upbeat for the day, you know, that's it. You gave your time to the source. Now the source will empower you to live the day properly, consciously. Making good connections with people, with land, with animals, with everyone. So that's, you know, nutshell.
Okay, and then we had Tanya. Does the sun not rise and set over the city?
Oh yes, it does, and sometimes very beautiful. In Prague also, I used to go to a place where the sunrise is a perfect vision. So it's true, we can have access to that, not so much to the clean air, not so much to the clean sound, meaning a lot of artificial sounds, not so much to the clear sky also because of air pollution we don't see, because artificial light also we don't see the stars so much. Not so much. So I was just doing not so much clean water, and air comes from the AC and water from the faucet, and yeah, but we do, yes, luckily we still are able to see the sun, but not everywhere. Like I used to travel to Moscow on my business trips when I was working for HP, and Moscow, most of the times it was so cloudy, like in 5 days you didn't see a sun at all. And when we just went up in the air by plane and got above the clouds, it was like a matrix, that moment. And I was like, oh, there's a sun, It was just like amazing. I see the sun. So that's how it is in the megapolises, like big, huge cities. It's actually a problem. But in some other cities, it's fine. I've been to Atlanta, nice sunrise, beautiful.
May I share?
Sure.
So I've come to a place in my life where trying to find a way that I can be seen. The light is. I've come to a place in my life where I've been able to split my time between a beautiful rented farmhouse in Western Massachusetts, kind of a wild farm. The cows are just wander in the hills and come back with burrs stuck all over them, and they're quite wild, but it's fun. And then I live in a small city, New Haven, Connecticut, for work. And I've come to, at first, when I was going back and forth, I would come to New Haven. I'd be like, oh, I always felt like like this sort of thrill coming off the highway. But then when I was sleeping, I at the time I was staying near a hospital, and I would hear the emergency units coming in and out, or the helicopters or whatever. But within the last year, so this has been going on for maybe 2 years now, and in the last year, because it's created this balance in my life. And I agree with you, where if you're in the city, to find the respite of nature wherever you can, even if neighbors of mine were like, well, not everyone has a farmhouse, and I'm like, well, I used to think that way too, and I'd be like, just take your shoes off and stand in the grass and close your eyes and let the sun just hit your forehead, like anything to connect, because you can, and I think about, I used to resent the hospital sounds, and now it's like, oh, they're going out to help someone, so even in the city, I'm finding more and more beauty than ever before, where I used to resent it. Like yesterday, I was on my way to work and I have to drive down this main route, and there was a woman on the side of the road, and she was kind of crawling, and you could tell it's an area of the city where people are doing a lot of drugs and are unhoused. And I was way up in the line on the stop sign. I said, I'm going to have to pull over, help this lady. I said, oh, I hope someone pulls over. I had volunteers waiting for me at my workspace, but I was willing to be late and text them. And I said, I hope somebody pulls over. And within 30 seconds, someone pulled over. And I was like, oh, beautiful, beautiful, because I would have. And this person, got out of the car, they're helping her. I'm like, okay. And I just see beauty everywhere now that I've created this balance for myself in between the farm life and the city life. And at first I thought, oh, I want to get away from the city. And now I just want to infuse what I can into the city. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when the people come to me and they say, oh, whoa, can I do everything so loud? And I live in this neighborhood. I'm like, come for a walk, come to the park, come for a walk with me. Yeah. Or just find that little patch of grass, and just smush your toes into it. So I love what you said about how the urban life can find balance too.
Yes.
Thank you, Tanya. I appreciate it.
Really
It
like that.
enriches your lifestyle, and you the lessons you learn on the farms, you bring them back to the cities, and that's the amazing part. That's my point. Like you get away, you kind of bring back the proper consciousness.
Yeah. Thank you. So, any other questions about the farm? Otherwise, I wanted to have Venu and Veda here talk a little bit about this 4 human functions and how to upgrade them. Are you all still with me? Any other questions about the farm? So coming back to this topic, we're discussing, check if there's, okay. Yes, no questions. Thank you, Cynthia, for your comment. So we were talking about how all living beings on this planet, all souls, have 4 functions that are the dominant realities that we encounter every single day. And those 4 are ahara, nidra, bhaya, and maithun. Those are the Sanskrit words. And when we translate it into English, it's eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So if you analyze every action that any species in this world, if you observe any species in this world, you will find that they are engaged in one of the 4 activities, if not all 4 of them. And the unique part of this is to understand that the very existence that we have in this world, what, say, 4-legged species have and the 2-legged species have, we're doing the same thing. So what differentiates between the 2-legged species, the human species, and the 4-legged species of life? Because we're discussing about the 8,400,000 species of life that is there on this planet. And all of them are engaged in these 4 activities: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So what differentiates? Why is it that the human species, we have 2 legs, we have such complex mindsets on how to engage in eating? If you really think about it, the complexity in which the humans engage in their relationship with food, how many different kinds of cuisines, how many different kinds of food, how many different ways to try and engage with our relationship with food. Just that in itself is very complex. I remember when I went to Europe first time, and I was in an airport, and I remember going into a store and I saw a bottle of wine that says, I think, 50 years old or something like that. And my mind immediately went there to think about what preparation, what contemplation, meditation, and arrangement had to be made to make that bottle of drink that took them 50 years to make. Imagine the complexity of design and thought and process and implementation that went into that. Just one drink. And there are different age brackets of the drink. So human beings, we have used our intelligence to extract and optimize and maximize and squeeze the most out of our relationship with food. Now, is that the best way to use our intelligence to build a relationship with food? That's the question that we have to ask. And what about the 4-legged species? Do they make such complex plans, or is it just an easy thing for them? if you live nature to be with nature, their food is provided for and it's effortless for them. They're eating effortlessly, and yet we make it so complex, so complicated just to eat some food. So this is something that the wisdom texts are asking us to think about. Why is it that we do this? Sleeping. If you look at the world today, 50% of the population is sleep deprived. Some studies say. Some say 30%. Some say 70%. Different studies are proving different results. And why is it that it's so difficult for us to go to sleep? And we have such complex science and technology deployed to make the best possible bed, to make the best possible environmental arrangement. I went to sleep last night and I was so happy because I was hearing the sounds that you would buy on Spotify to go to sleep. The crickets, the water, the rain. It was just, and it was free. It was free. And yet, if we live in our society and we think about it, the complexity of our relationship with sleep, whereas our four-legged partners in this world, they can sleep anywhere, no problems, anytime. Easy, effortless. And then the third layer that we're discussing is mating. For example, sex life. Sex life is so difficult for humans because it's governing everything we do. And once we finish a particular engagement with our bodies, then we try to see how we can squeeze more pleasure out of our bodies in different ways. Sex industry is considered to have a revolving around of almost $2.3 trillion, some researchers say. We spend all this money trying to optimize our sex life, but animals, our four-legged species, brothers and sisters, they can enjoy it anytime, anywhere. They don't care about who's watching, who's not. So what is it that we are doing that is causing us to completely exert such energy in ourselves to spend trillions of dollars into this, whereas the four-legged species, effortless, so natural. And then the fourth layer, fourth dimension is defense. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Now, if you look at defense, United States alone spends trillions of dollars in defense annually. For what? Because there is bhayam. Ahar means to eat, nidra, sleep. Bhaya is fear. We are afraid. And as a result, what do? Every country spends almost half of their budget just to see how they can defend themselves from a possible attack from somebody. So this anxiety causes us to figure out how we can defend ourselves and defend whatever we have accumulated in this world and protect it and make sure that no one can take away my home, my car, my watch, my phones, just this very fundamental basic things that we're afraid to lose, and we do everything we can to defend it. So the wisdom texts are saying, if our four-legged brothers and sisters are doing this effortlessly, why is the human beings making such an effort for these four activities? Such an effort. And is that the best use of our energy and resources, our intelligence? Yoga explains that our energy is so powerful, it's so powerful that we can reach the highest pinnacle of spiritual realization just from this human body. Highest, the topmost. We can actually, shoot for the spiritual world and make it in this one lifetime. If we can go that high, where there is no birth, old age, disease, and death, why is it that we are so trapped energetically into focusing on this four engagements in the material world? And so this question is being asked of all of us by the sages. They're saying, what is it that all of you are doing? When I'm here in Gitanagari, my mind becomes more clearer because I'm not in the midst of high, dense, concentrated energy of distraction. There's nothing to distract and everything to attract to our own nature, which is our divine nature. And this is what the wisdom texts are teaching, is that we must engage our intelligence in asking these pertinent questions. And if we engage our intelligence in asking these questions, then we will be able to go deep within ourselves to find the truth. And our relationship with eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, you will see they all become deeply spiritualized. Eating doesn't become eating, eating becomes honoring. You develop a big relationship with food. Sleeping is another deep part of our life. You start to have a relationship with Nidra Devi, the goddess of sleep. If we show respect and have a loving relationship, mating becomes a sacred exchange between two souls, not with the intent to exploit. And defending this fear that we have, which is the most dominant factor. Fear is there in food because human beings, we always have fear of not having enough food or something will happen. So there is so many food safety. I was discussing yesterday, Keshavi called me about food safety. And we're discussing, there's so much fear with food. There's so much fear with sleep. There's so much fear with sex life. So this bhaya, this fear, is dominating every spectrum of our existence. But the minute we engage our intelligence, our fear starts to dissipate. That's why it's called Jnana Dipena Bhaswata in Sanskrit, which means with the torch, with the lamp of knowledge. And this is what the wisdom texts are saying, that we must engage in using our intelligence. And the use of intelligence will give you, there's two ways of engagement. There is something called a pravritti in Sanskrit. So you can write this word down, pravritti and nivritti. You can, those of you who study yoga, pravritti is engaging with the material world in your senses with the idea that you're going to get some pleasure out of it. And the probability of you getting some pleasure out of it is very high. But is it sustainable? That is the question. And nivritti is an abstention of entanglement through utilization of our most powerful faculty, the faculty of intelligence. To really, really decipher, how much do I want to engage with this world? And yes, if I were to engage, why should I engage with the world? Because if I engage with the world, there has to be a higher purpose. We cannot not engage with the world. But we engage with the world with a purpose. So engagement with detachment. Like I recommend all of you to go out there, be materially successful. But please keep in mind, the real trap in the material world is success, not failure. Failure is not a trap. Success is the trap. Because there you'll get lost in the material world and you will not be able to find the light. So success, yes. But why should we be materially successful? You know, we have Venu Prabhu. He's given up his life. He's given up his life. When I say given up his life, means he's given up life in engagement with the material world, and he's fully engaged himself in his spiritual essence. The vital essence of life is to experience divine spiritual love. That is the essence. The essence of life is to really, really penetrate your heart. We try to penetrate other people's heart, but penetrate your heart and you'll find the divine essence. And the vital essence that you'll find is this experience of prema bhakti, unconditional, unalloyed, untainted, divine spiritual emotion of love. So this is how much I love this person, because, you know, he had everything in this world. He was working at HP, traveling the world, you know, living a successful life. And now if you see him, he just walks around this 300 acres and he's got this biggest smile on his face and he lives in a little cabin and everything is hunky-dory. Now, I'm not saying that all of you have to do that. I'm just saying the conscious shift has to happen. We have to consciously make an effort to really open the vault, the treasure that lies within our hearts. We cannot live a life and the treasure was never opened. The treasure has been left there for us to experience it. Why are we not opening the treasure? Imagine someone gives you, right? Someone gives you the treasure. Okay, Dhyana Devi, here is a $2 trillion bank balance for you. And there you are thinking, okay, I have all these resources, but maybe I shouldn't open it now. Maybe at some later date. Why? It's there for us it's there for us. It's been given to us by the universe, by our Father, by divine arrangement. And so therefore, you know, my always humble appeal to all of you every single week is always to see how to go inside and open that vault. And that is accessible to all of you through your practice of sadhana. Sadhana, as John asked, what is your daily sadhana practice? 4:30 a.m., Venu is sitting there reciting poetry. Beautiful Sanskrit poetry he's reciting with such deep, loving emotion in his heart. Poetry of gratitude. 4:30 a.m. in the morning. Then you wonder why he's so youthful, so energetic, so happy. It's because that's how he starts his day. And that's something that the sages recommend to us time and again, that the most valuable asset lies within us. And all we have to do is to take the key that we already have. We have the key, we have the sadhana practice. And we just have to do it. So this is our discussion for today. Any questions on this discussions? We had a lot to cover, but I think the most important thing is to really be in this space with saintly people like Venu. Please share something.
I can only share that I'm in a saintly association of Veda, the way he speaks. And yeah, you made me think as you were talking, related to the previous question asked about how deep your practice became, spiritual practice. I didn't mention the cows actually, and being around cows is something very special. I've seen a dog, somebody had a dog in a camera. It's like having a big dog, as smart as dog. Cows are very smart. But the way they operate is quite unique. They can run very fast. They can run up to 25 miles if they want to. They're such clumsy animals in one sense. But usually they walk very gently and slowly. And they're always together, unless somebody is sick. And being around the cow, who is very gentle, very slow, the body temperature is higher than human being, especially in autumn or winter time. When you hug the cow and she's breathing slowly, she's digesting, her body temperature is higher, her blood circulation is slower than yours. Just the way you calm down being around her, it has tremendous effect on your mind to calm down. Now, with your mind calm down, you can practice spirituality much, much easier, right? Because it's all about how to control your mind and your senses. Because without that, it's very hard to focus. So your meditation practice becomes much easier when you have those factors around you helping you, enhancing your spiritual practice. So that's why, hence why the cows. Horses are beautiful. They're even more beautiful than cows, but yet they're a bit more dynamic and energetic, and it's a different energy. When you be around cows, you can realize that much more. That state of goodness that helps you to become in the moment. That's just one of the thoughts that came.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Does anybody have any last takeaways they want to share?
Sorry, Laura had a quick question. She
Yes.
was asking Venu if he could repeat something about how you start you said something about how you start your day is how your entire day will unfold. I think she's looking for the quote.
Please, your favorite, the quote that you gave.
Yeah, the way you start your day, that's how you consciously live the day. The energy that you attract in the morning, especially the morning hours, they're very calm. They're very, the ether is clean. Everybody's sleeping still, and you're already awake. So to synchronize, to reach the synchronicity with the divine spiritual energy, with the source of the energy, that's your morning hours. And it's like with time, you can never, if you have millions or trillions of dollars, you cannot get back that moment. So that moment, and we all have it, we all have the access to that treasure, as Veda said. So the best time to access that treasure is early morning before the sunrise. If you do that, then you will see, you will start noticing how your day is completely different. How all of a sudden you have so much time. You know, you just bought your you woke up early and you have all that time. You just need to know what to do with that time, of course. And Veda is an expert to explain you what to do with the time.
Beautiful.
How to reconnect.
Yeah, I know time is gone because it was never ours to have in the first place. But I think we ran out of time, or we spent too much time. And my recommendation is to always please remain. Oh, someone is asking questions. Cody Balram.
No, I'm just I'm just playing around with the emojis.
Oh, cool. Thank you, Cody. Well, KShivi, any announcements, any housekeeping before we?
No, I'm actually really upset I'm not there with you guys. So have an amazing retreat. And there is the Georgia retreat if anybody wants to take part in another retreat with Veda in Labor Day weekend.
Yes, and I got to meet Rachel, one of Lisa's students, and I got to meet Darius, such beautiful souls. And yeah, it's just so nice to be in the company of loving hearts. And in Georgia, the cool thing in Georgia is that our whole theme is going to be unearthing your purpose. So it's going to be a lot of interactive, meditative work on the self to find your purpose in life. For those of you who are in Europe, you're welcome. It's just a short flight. Or everywhere in the world, whoever wants to come. It's at a Methodist retreat center. It's on next to there's this beautiful glisten waterfalls in North Georgia mountains. So we always try to pick places that are tricking you into spending time in nature, because that's where you get nurtured, just like we had in Connecticut. So we're having in Gittinagri right now in Pennsylvania, North Georgia mountains. We'll learn all about hydrotherapy and connecting with the electromagnetic frequency of the earth and its relationship with the bodies of water, and the prana that you can absorb and your body can be charged through the bodies of water. So thank you all so much. It's such a great honor for me to have my dear friend Venu with me. He's a big inspiration because he's so committed and dedicated, and I get to see him in the farm whenever I come. And to each and every one of you for giving me a little space in your hearts. And please don't forget to share your love with somebody in this world. Everyone is hungry and are waiting to be loved. Namaste, beautiful souls.
Namaste. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Namaste.